Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 save. We are finally back after a few weeks of a break. Apologies again, I had a little bit of a break. I think that's okay, I'm sure you're fine with it. But we're carrying on, we're on the road to Summerslam 2020 now. I watched Summerslam in real life and I thought it was quite a good show actually, and was Payback. Payback was a lot better actually, shorter, it worked well. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. It's going to be a lot different SummerSlam for us, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're going to start today with Monday Night Raw, and one of the main things we highlighted for this week was Edge and Seth Rollins will go face to face in a contract signing. It's the WWE, it's a contract signing. It would make a lot of sense what it does, what they love. Not just that though, we're going to pick up from last week. AJ destroyed Rey Mysterio with Drew McIntyre watching on in the main event last week. What will happen with those two? And yeah, it's going to be interesting. 6-man tag, Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders against the Disciples and Randy Orton. And also in there is Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane with Becky Lynch as special guest referee. Let's do this. We open up with a fantastic 90 rated segment, and let's talk about this. AJ Styles comes down to the ring, WWE Championship on his shoulder, takes a microphone, and he is bragging. He is full of confidence. He talks about the massive momentum shift he is on. He beat Kevin Owens in a ladder match. He won the WWE Championship, and last week he destroyed one of the greatest of all time, because AJ Styles is the best there is right now. He is unstoppable. Nobody could stop him. Nobody's going to stop what he does to Drew McIntyre. And if AJ wants to destroy anyone tonight, he can do that. Anybody, nobody could stop him. And out comes, well, it's a big show. That was fun. Anyway, Big Show comes out. You want to fight someone? Why don't you fight a giant, AJ? Me and you, one-on-one tonight. Because I don't like what you did last week. I don't like that you destroyed one of the best people I have ever met in this business, Rey Mysterio. And I'm sure he'll be back and he'll be looking for revenge. He won't be out long. I know, I get that he's not injured, but you did embarrass him. Let's see if you can embarrass a giant. AJ goes, all right then. That's another one I can tick off my list. Another scalp perhaps for AJ Styles tonight, but a 90 rated segment. Wow, off script both of them, and they nailed it. Really, really, really good stuff. Good match here, 71 rated matchup. Pretty good when you look at the teams involved. And it's the 6-man tag. Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders against the Disciples and Randy Orton. And the winners are the baby faces. Eric pinning Shelton Benjamin. So the Viking Raiders getting a pinfall victory over the tag team champions just 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. We're still up in the air what we're going to do with those for SummerSlam. But let's see. There's lots of contenders in the tag team division now, which is nice to see. Eric 62, Ivar 65, 75 and 76 for Owens and Orton. 53 for Benjamin was the worst of the lot, and 59 for Murphy. Really good stuff though from the Viking Raiders there, I would say. Ivar putting in a 65 performance. Really, really good for their popularity. Very happy with that. And if they continue on that roll, we'll see where we can push them to. Benjamin was slightly off his game. Yep. That's fine, but gained heat to both the storylines. Good TV storyline building tag team action. You can sort of say Owens and Orton wasn't involved in the pinfall because they were brawling on the outside, and that brawl continued after the match. For a 73, pretty good. Deserve better announcing, but that's about it. They brawl around ringside, and Randy Orton hits the RKO through the announce table. If it breaks, you know what Randy Orton's like. Onto Kevin Owens, leaves Owens laying again. Orton is ruthless at the moment, and the RKO is it's the deadliest finisher in all of the WWE. Those three deadly letters, RKO. From there, we went backstage where Andrade, Theory, and Garza are sort of debating now what they're going to do. Zelina's gone. Zelina has gone. Zelina won't be back for at least for a long while anyway. But she has gone as far as they're concerned. Turned their back on them. And now they need something. Andrade needs to step up as a leader. But in walked Lana. Now, I think we started this on main event last time out. Lana comes across and said, listen, I hear there's this spot. This is what she did on main event. I hear there's this spot and I want to fill it. That sounds weird. But on Raw, Andrade obviously does have a match tonight against Cedric Alexander, and Lana says, maybe I can help you out with that. Just a little bit of a tease, maybe, that Lana could be getting herself involved with this group here, who need a new name, by the way. Andrade, Theory, and Garza. They were Zelina's family. That's now got to be changed. So, comment section, let me know what you think. And it won't be Retribution. Don't give me Retribution. Give me something good. I've got ideas, but I want to see what you guys can come up with. Comment section, new name for Andrade, Theory, and Garza. Please. 58 for a matchup here between Apollo Crews and Brendan Vink. Had a bit of time to fill after I'd put all the matches out there. There was a good 12 minutes or so needed to be filled. Get these two on the TV show. Let's see if they can improve them. 58 though, he's actually really good. Apollo Crews were really holding this together. 10 minutes or so they got. And yeah, Apollo beating Brendan Vink with a standing moonsault. Really good stuff from both men actually. Brendan Vink 43 above his popularity. Apollo Crews, good win for him. No complaints at this. Standard stuff. Not building a storyline. Just seeing two men out there putting on a wrestling match for 10 minutes. Backstage, Seth Rollins got a promo on Edge. Struggled without a script this week, which is interesting. But it's still a 71 rated promo. It's pretty good. Talks about how Edge does not have the courage to step in the ring with him tonight and face him one-on-one. He does not have the courage to come and take on the disciples. Just the hint that Rollins was made it very clear that he's not going to go out there alone tonight, and Edge needs to be aware of what he is walking into. The former WWE champion Drew McIntyre was in action for a 76 rated match, really good match, against his former 3MB mate Jinder Mahal. So a battle of the former world champions, and yeah, 76, really good. Drew is the man with this. 78, Jinder 54, not bad at all, and a good TV matchup to build it up. What we did say here is AJ Styles came out to ringside. The idea is obviously that AJ has this contract that Drew can't touch him till Summerslam, so AJ can do what he wants, which is what he's been doing the last few weeks. However, Drew knows what AJ is up to. AJ comes out trying to distract Drew McIntyre from this match against Jinder Mahal, but Drew doesn't even look at him. Drew doesn't even acknowledge him, and that just makes AJ more and more frustrated, more and more angry, and he does not like being ignored. He's like the child when they're having a temper tantrum and you ignore them for a little bit, and he hates it, but Drew completely ignores him. In fact, it's Jinder that gets distracted by everything that's going on, and he says the Future Shock DDT does the business for Drew McIntyre. Afterwards, AJ's walking up the ramp, Drew celebrating, still ignoring AJ Styles, and AJ gets on the mic and says, you know what, Drew? Fine. Tonight, I'm going to do something you can't ignore. 71, good promo from AJ, and a good match from Drew. Good stuff so far. Hopefully they can continue it in the storyline in the main event, AJ and Big Show tonight. 60 rated matchup here, tag team matchup in the women's division. Pretty good stuff. Natalya and Liv Morgan defeat the Iconics in about 15 minutes. Liv Morgan getting the pinfall over Billie Kay here, and we're starting up a storyline actually here. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Natalya. We did something with Ruby and Liv before, but we never really followed up too much on it, so we're going to sort of go there again and insert Natalya in there as well. So this is going to be interesting. Liv 46 was the worst of the lot, but she is improving, which is good because I do see a lot of potential in Liv Morgan. Natalya 60, the best, that's brilliant. Peyton Royce 54 and Billie Kay 54. So Natalya and Liv Morgan win. So Liv already has Paige up by her side, Liv sort of bigging her up all the time, but now actually Natalya is impressed. She gets on the mic, so they get interviewed maybe in the ring by Charlie Caruso or whoever, Kayla Braxton, whatever. And they ask Natalya, what's it like to team with this woman? And Natalya says, you know what? It is something quite unbelievable because this woman right here, Liv Morgan, she is the next best thing in the women's division. The next best thing. It's going to make sense soon enough as to why we said that, but that is what Natalya says, that Liv Morgan's the next best thing. Brock Lesnar was the next big thing, was it? I think something like that. It's playing on that a little bit, but the idea is that the experienced head of Natalya sees Liv Morgan and sees the potential, and it's just driving it into the viewer's mind. This woman could be onto some very big things in the future. Liv Morgan. It says upcoming match. Ignore that. You can see what we're going with, hopefully. Cedric cut a promo for 53 on Andrade. Pretty good stuff for him. It's not bad for his promo work. It can improve, and he worked well, using the crowd well. He did that on the way to the ring, talking about the fact that, you know what, things haven't been going his way lately. Things have not been going his way for a little while. But tonight is the night he bucks the trend. Tonight is the night the age of Alexander comes to fruition. And Cedric wants to defeat the US champion here on Raw. Will he do so? No, he won't. Come on. 73 though, really good match here. Andrade defeating Cedric in about 18 minutes. So they got good time, two good workers. I feel like we've done this match a couple of times now, but it seems to work every single time. Cedric was actually off his game with a 57, but Andrade is 71, and we were boosted as well for a 73. And as you can see, the finish there, Andrade defeats Cedric with a Brillante driver following interference from Lana, who made herself involved in this. She offered help to Andrade, and now she has, well, shown what she can do as a manager. Afterwards, Andrade celebrating, and the lights go out. The lights come back on to Aleister Black, but Andrade's ready for him this time. Andrade is ready and pushes Lana right into Aleister Black. Aleister Black's like, whoa, sort of gets distracted, and there comes the attack from behind by Angel Garza and Austin Theory. Andrade getting involved too. A 3-on-1 beatdown. But the main thing here is Andrade has, well, Lana has been offering help, so Andrade has used that help in his own way, to his own advantage, to beat down the number one contender to the United States Championship. 63 is okay, could be worse, could be better. Backstage, Ruby Riott and Natalya get into an argument. Ruby Riott does not like Natalya calling Liv the next best thing in the women's division, because she is the next best thing in the women's division. She is a future WWE, Raw or Smackdown women's champion. She's the next main eventer. She's the next breakout star. And if Natalya can't see that, maybe Ruby Riott needs to beat the belief into Natalya. An argument between the two, and we'll see where this leads eventually. 48 for this, really lower mid-card stuff. Yeah, I'm fine with that. 69 for a Randy Orton promo and Kevin Owens. Orton usually does better than that, so that's slightly disappointing. Orton says earlier he left Owens laying, and he understands that they are going to have a match at SummerSlam. But you know what? If they're going to have a match at SummerSlam, then maybe it should mean something. Maybe there should be a point to it. Not just me destroying Kevin Owens, because that's what's going to happen. Maybe the winner should get a title opportunity. Randy Orton with an appeal to the WWE brass for a title opportunity. And what we can do after the show is announce it on social media that they have listened and they have added a stipulation to Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens at SummerSlam. And the winner of that one will get a shot at the WWE Championship the next night on Monday Night Raw. Just before we go to break, Becky Lynch leaves her dressing room dressed in a refereeing outfit. She is the special guest referee for the following contest between Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler in the same ring. When we come back from break, a 72 rated segment is pretty good. And the match itself gets us a 65, which is not bad at all, considering this is a bit of a messy finish as well. Shayna Baszler 71, Kairi Sane 55. As you can see here, the victor is actually Kairi Sane, but it's by disqualification. So Becky, as the referee, is always winding up Shayna. Shayna can't lay a hand on her. Shayna just cannot lay a hand on her. And you know what? Becky's plan isn't working, because Shayna is staying calm. Shayna is in control until finally Becky knows what she needs to do. And a swift slap across the face of Shayna Baszler. Of course, Shayna then tries to attack Becky. Ding, 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 disqualification. There's a disqualification. That's what Becky was trying to do. And yeah, Shayna and Kairi, 65 isn't bad at all. Kairi are 55 and Shayna are 71. So that's about right. After the match, Becky and Baszler continue to brawl around ringside for an 81. Wowzers, good segment, ladies. These guys are killing it. This feud's been brilliant. And yeah, Becky is the one that gets on top. The big chair shot to Shayna, and Becky stands tall this week. But these two mammoths, these two Goliaths of the women's division will go one-on-one at SummerSlam. And will we see the women's championship change hands, or will the man continue her momentous run as Raw Women's Champion? Backstage for a 50 rated segment are the Disciples, Akam, Razor, Murphy and Benjamin. Murphy and Benjamin are down on their luck. They've had a bad day. They lost out earlier and it weren't good. But Akam and Razor found it very, very funny. They are laughing at the champions. Maybe a little bit of dissension right before the contract signing, which is next. So a little bit of a tease going into that. 50 is okay. And the contract signing gets us a 63. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's talk through it, though. Let's talk through it. So Rollins and Edge have the contract signing, and eventually they sign the contract. And Edge gets on the back and say, Seth, I know what's coming here, by the way. I understand your plan. Out come your little cronies, I'm sure. And out come your little cronies to beat me up. Fine. Bring it on. I'll take on the lot of you. I don't care. I will take on you all because at SummerSlam, you are going to get the most rabid rated R machine you've ever seen. Seth is laughing, does that cocky laugh. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But he does that cocky laugh. And he says, all right, fair enough, boys. Get him. And out come the Disciples, Akam, Razor, Benjamin and Murphy. And they start to beat down Edge. However, this is what happens. Akam is holding Edge like this, ready for Murphy to come around and hit the super kick. Edge ducks. Murphy hits Akam with a super kick, and it sparks a brawl between the Disciples, Benjamin and Murphy, and AOP. These two teams who are meant to be on the same side start to brawl up the ramp, and Seth is furious. Seth is like, whoa, what? Staring out from the ring up the ramp. He has no idea what's going on because behind him, in sneaks Edge. Spear to Seth Rollins. A spear leaves the Messiah, the Monday Night Messiah, down and out. His disciples have fallen apart, and Edge has stood tall at the contract signing 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out, another week to go of SummerSlam. I think it's probably better than that, but I get that Akam and Razor have quite poor popularity, so yeah. Is what it is. Ahead of the main event, Big Show cut a promo on AJ Styles for 68, talking about similar to what he said earlier about how Ray's such a good friend to him. But guess what? Tonight he gets revenge, and AJ Styles is going to feel the KO punch. It's the weapon of mass destruction, isn't it? The way he'll go. That's a bit like Roman Reigns, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, you get my point. Ahead of then that main event, I think that's next. Big Show and AJ Styles in the main event. 78. AJ Styles is a man on a tear right now. A 75 from him, 63 from Big Show, and a 78 main event. AJ Styles defeats the Big Show as you'd expect. The springboard 450 splash. I quite like the idea that AJ puts him down with the phenomenal forearm, but Big Show continues to kick out. But in the end, maybe a small package or something you wouldn't expect from AJ, showing that he's up there. That's what he's thinking about to win matches. And yeah, he defeats the Big Show. No problem at all. 78. Really, really good main event for these two. Much better than you'd expect it to be. You know what I mean? Nearly 4 stars between AJ and Big Show. Yes. And we end with a 78 rated segment as well, because out comes Drew McIntyre to distract AJ more than anything. Doesn't touch him, he's distracting him as Big Show now loads up with the weapon of mass destruction. Bush. AJ is knocked clean out by the Giant. AJ may have won the match because he is the champion and he's shown what he can do in a wrestling ring. But his mouth is starting to cash checks that his arse can't handle. I don't know if that's it. I don't even know what that means. But you get my point. AJ is down to end the show. Drew and Big Show himself celebrate. Drew hasn't touched AJ, but he's got a measure of revenge tonight. And that gives us an 80 rated Monday Night Raw. A really good Raw. Really, really good Raw. Especially when you consider, I am starting to put in some people or some storylines that you wouldn't expect to be on Raw, more of a main event sort of type thing. I'm trying to build people up, and it still worked here. So let's talk about it. Viking Raiders in there, getting a good victory and a good match. Apollo Crews was involved but still got a 58. This Natalya and Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott storyline. Cedric Alexander got some promo time. Ruby and Natalya there, as you can see. Lots of angles. Becky, not in a match, but as a special guest referee, and the angles has worked for them. Kairi Sane getting an opportunity, and Big Show in the main event. It's a different type of Raw, but it's worked out really well. Good start to the episode. Really good start. Okay, main event. But before we start, I want to tell you about a little change that I've made. By the way, before we do that, actually, lots of befores. That Raw, I looked it up. It's the best show we've had on the entire series. AJ and the Big Show. Anyway, main event. We've made a slight change. I realised I was doing it all wrong, main event. It was a Raw branded show, yet Raw already has 3 hours. And Smackdown does not have a B show. So it's now a Raw and Smackdown show. So you'll see some Smackdown wrestlers on the show from now on. Makes sense? It does make sense. Let's get on with it. We got tag team action tonight. It's a tag team show. 3 tag team matches, 4 promos. Let's have a look how this goes. We open up with Charlotte Flair teaming with Ruby Riott against Lacey Evans and Naomi. So let's have a look. Okay then, 56 is not bad considering Ruby Riott's 42, Lacey Evans 43. 54 from Naomi is good though, 64 from Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair gets the win, tapping out Naomi with a figure 4, but Ruby Riott enjoys that one and is victorious as such. She may not have got the submission, but she is victorious as such. Okay, not bad. Shayna Baszler could have promo on Becky for 72, talking about the fact that, you know what, on Raw, Shayna brought some violence out of Becky. Violence that she likes. She wants to see more violence from the man, and she will enjoy it. 72 is a pretty good promo. We're going to drift through these quite quickly, so it's pretty good. 57 for a tag team match between Elias and Cesaro. That's the Artist Collective now. They don't work well as a team. You are kidding me. No, I'm changing that. I'm sorry. I'm changing that. The plan is to have them as a team, so that is going to be changed. R-Truth and Titus O'Neil were the opponents, and the heels got the victory. Cesaro tapping R-Truth with a sharp shooter. 58 from Cesaro, 53 from Elias, 54 apiece for the babyfaces. Means a 57 rated match. Good main event stuff, I would say. That's pretty good. Building up the heel tag team. Sami Zayn cut a promo on Kofi Kingston after the matchup, talking about how Kofi wants this opportunity, but Kofi doesn't deserve this opportunity. But guess what? No matter who he faces, Sami Zayn will stay Intercontinental Champion. Ruby Riott is backstage bragging about her victory, talking to Natalya and Liv backstage, talking about the fact that she is the next best thing. Did you not see that out there? Naomi and Lacey Evans were defeated. What have you guys done tonight? Liv, have you done anything tonight? No. If she was the next best thing, wouldn't she be booked to wrestle tonight? No, because Ruby Riott is the next best thing. 50. Okay. Good promo here from AJ Styles on Drew McIntyre, talking about the fact that, you know what, AJ may not have had the best week, but it doesn't matter because he is WWE champion. No one can take that from him. No one can ruin his momentum. He is the phenomenal one, and Summerslam will be phenomenal. Main event is a 6-man tag. Jeff Hardy teaming with Humberto Carrillo and Shorty G, Chad Gable, against Shane Thorne, Brendan Vink, and King Corbin. So let's see what happens with this. 53. That's slightly disappointing, but Riddick Moss, not Brendan Vink, Riddick Moss. So yeah, it's not great, but it's fine for main event. And a good victory for Shorty G, pinning Shane Thorne. Good victory for Chad Gable there. 57 rated main event. We'll move on quickly from that. Right, before we get to NXT, I've just opened up the news straight after main event to come to this nonsense. Look at all the hatred, and it's all from this. Renee Young and Jon Moxley have divorced after Renee Young was caught cheating with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph, mate. Dolph, what have you done? Oh, God. So, right. The first hatred on there. Sami Callihan hates Renee Young. I don't care. I don't care about that. That's fine. Before we get there, Miz is back after his injury. Samoa Joe, and I will sort that. That needs to be changed. Serena's gone from NXT. That's fine as well. Drug test fees, fine. Right. The first hatred. Jon Moxley and Dolph Ziggler now hate each other. That's not a surprise. Reigns and Ziggler now hate each other. Jimmy Uso and Ziggler hate each other. Callahan, Corey Graves and Renee Young have fell out. Oh, they're best friends in real life and now they hate each other. Oh, God. Graves hates Ziggler as well. Rollins and Renee. Rollins and Ziggler. Jay and Renee, Jay and Ziggler, Jimmy and Renee, and Reigns. Reigns hates Renee as well. Renee. I've just offered her a new contract. She's not going anywhere in this, by the way. So I've just offered her a new... Maybe I should just let her go. Well, maybe Renee needs to be the manager for Dolph and Robert Roode and push them to the moon. Okay, we come to NXT. Just 2 weeks away from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I forgot what it's called. The TakeOver, anyway. And we have got a show which is building to other shows this week. A main event, Matt Riddle versus Damien Priest. But next week, we've got some big matches which we're going to announce on this show. We do have the Tag Team Championships on the line tonight. Grizzled Young Veterans against Isaiah Swerve Scott and a mystery partner of his choice. Let's get into this. Let's build some character, shall we? We do open up with the match, though, because this is NXT and we like our wrestling. And it's Tommaso Ciampa and Kona Reeves here with a 62. Ciampa's nailed this, but Kona Reeves as well, a 34. Really, really good stuff from him. A heel that potentially could be used in a tag team going forward, I'm thinking. A power man in a tag team could work for him. We'll see what we can do with that. But yeah, really good stuff. Ciampa wins with a Project Ciampa. And I mean, 68 from Ciampa, 34 from Kona Reeves. And I like that. Tommaso Ciampa made Kona Reeves look particularly strong. Power wrestler, make him look good. That's what Ciampa did, and that's what you want to see from one of the cornerstones of NXT. Good stuff from Ciampa. Afterwards, he has a little segment. He's on his own, but this should set the tone of his feud with Karrion Kross. So he comes out. Hang on. Thanks, Norman. Uses superior skills to make Kona Reeves look particularly strong. Brilliant. Thank you, Ciampa. 67 for the angle. Could have been better. Didn't do well without a script. He doesn't really speak, was the idea. That what he does, he pulls out a table in the ring, sets up a table, then he goes back under the ring and he pulls out lighter fluid. And he sets the table on fire. Still not saying anything. Crazed look in his eye. The psychopath, the black heart. Tommaso Ciampa is here. Not as a heel, as a babyface, but he's still here, ready to destroy. And what he does is he pulls from the side of the ring, from the steps. I don't know. You can say he placed them there early if you need to. Two dolls. Two I don't know what they're called, but the dolls that you can, like in films, you poke is the idea. And it's sending a message as he just chucks the two dolls on top of this burning table. And the camera literally zooms in, and the shot we end with is these two dolls burning in the table and the flames, because these two dolls, one is Karrion Kross and one is Scarlett Bordeaux. Tommaso Ciampa sending a clear message that at NXT TakeOver he will burn everything down that they've ever worked for. He will burn them both to the ground. Still 67. Hopefully you get the idea of what I'm going with. Good start to the show, though. Tommaso Ciampa in the opening segment is nailing it. Well done, Tommaso. Adam Cole with a promo for 69, talking about Keith Lee. I did the Total Confidence promo, but really that is what he's saying. He brags about destroying Lee over the past few weeks, and he promises that at NXT TakeOver, the same thing will happen. And the longest reigning, the greatest NXT champion of all time will continue to be on top. 69 though, pretty good promo. That's all we're going to see from Adam Cole this week. We're going to hope sort of set up a match later in the night. But Adam Cole and Keith Lee, we've done a lot with them already this week. We're going to focus on some other things. So I just wanted to get an interview in there, and then we'll continue with the rest of the show. Including this matchup, 51. Really good stuff here for the women's division here on NXT. Rhea Ripley defeats Candice LeRae in about 16 minutes. The quick cradle does it, so that kind of protects Candice in my eyes. That it's not like she's been dominated clean. Rhea Ripley and Candice LeRae go back and forth. It looks like neither woman can put each other away. But Rhea Ripley with a experience now. She'd been to WrestleMania. She'd been champion. Quick cradle. Candice LeRae caught out, but not beaten is what we're going to go with here. Rhea Ripley, a 47. Candice outperformed her with a 48. These two are really, really talented women in the women's division. We've used Ripley so far. We haven't used a lot of Candice LeRae. That's something we could look at in the future. But these two are big parts of this NXT women's division, and it's good to get them on the TV show in matches. So yeah, we'll look to do this stuff a little bit more often, 'cause maybe I haven't been giving it the full attention. But 51, good stuff. Afterwards, Ripley cut a promo for 39, not a good promo. She needs scripting. Just talking herself up, talking about how she is a former NXT Women's Champion. She wants to be NXT Women's Champion again. And if anybody wants to come through this women's division, they've got to come through her. 39 is, not great, is it? Finn Balor was in action next up in a 61. And actually, both men were off their game here. They defeated Jake Atlas in about 12 minutes with a coup de grace. 64 from Balor is still pretty good considering he's off his game. And Jake Atlas, 39, is okay for him considering he's off his game as well. So this could have been worse. It actually could have been worse, but I will take it. A good win for Balor over a pretty good opponent. Someone that we've used quite a lot in losing positions, but I'm hoping it's just going to raise his popularity by being in the rings with the likes of Balor. He's been in the ring with Gargano. He's been in the ring with Adam Cole, I believe, at one point. So being in the ring with these men will hopefully improve his popularity, because Jake Atlas, once we do kickstart a cruiserweight division, which is the plan, it is definitely the plan, and I plan on building it around the likes of Jake Atlas, Isaiah Swerve Scott, El Hijo del Fantasma, or his new name, which I think I may end up doing that down the line as well. So options, but we want to build it up a little bit more and then go with it. 61 though, good win for Balor. Afterwards, he himself cuts a promo on Matt Riddle for 69. Pretty good stuff here from Balor. Talking about the fact that, well, he sort of rips into the brand itself and he rips into the fans and says the NXT brand needs Finn Balor as champion. Not a loser like Matt Riddle. Not a wannabe like Adam Cole. The original NXT champion. The best NXT champion. The man who put this brand on the map. The Prince. Finn Balor. And if Matt Riddle's got a problem with that, I will stomp him to the mat at NXT TakeOver, and then I'll move on. Whether it's Adam Cole, whether it's Keith Lee, none of them stand a chance, because the Prince is here, ready to ascend once again. 69 though, really good promo from Balor here, especially for NXT. Good stuff. And as you can see, he's got his eyes set on the NXT Championship. Riddle isn't taking that sort of attitude at the moment, because he wants to get revenge on Balor for what he did to his teammate Pete Dunne. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting between the two of them. Two top-level talents on the NXT brand with a title picture ready to go into as well. Balor and Riddle should be interesting. Ahead of their Tag Team Championship defense, the Tag Team Champions, Grizzled Young Veterans, got a promo on Breezango talking about the fact that they thought they were going to get a title shot this week. But guess what? They didn't deserve it. They didn't get the pin. And we are a champion of our word. We will put the titles on the line. Isaiah Swerve Scott deserved a championship opportunity for a great tag team win. And if he's got himself a partner, well, he's got himself a match. He's got himself a defeat, though, because the Grizzled Young Veterans will go on and defeat everyone that they put in their path. 46 is not great. Both struggled without a script, so hit and miss sometimes with the scripts. It's not consistent, I would say. I don't know if you guys have found it when you're playing it. One week, Zach Gibson, for example, could do really well off script. Then the next week, he doesn't. You've just got to take the wins and the losses for that when it comes. 46, though, it could be worse. So who is the mystery opponent? Well, I will tell you what my original plan was, and then I moved forward too much in the game, so I couldn't do it. The original plan was Cedric Alexander would be here, maybe just for one night only in NXT. We didn't really see him in NXT that much, and I just wanted to see whether he could work down there. And he was going to be the planned tag team partner for Isaiah Swerve Scott tonight. But yeah, I moved forward too much, so I couldn't put him down into development. It was my fault. It is what it is, but we are here now. So instead I had to come up with something else, and I hope I can explain it well enough. The mystery partner is Tony Nese. Now, okay, I get that may be underwhelming, and it is to a point, but Tony Nese is a performer in NXT right now. I suppose he's more 205 live in terms of real life, but I don't know how that works. But in my game, he's NXT, and he's a pretty good performer. Former NXT Cruiserweight Champion, or former Cruiserweight Champion. He's got a 40 popularity. He's got main roster experience, and you can sort of say here Isaiah Swerve Scott is turning to his cruiserweight division, and he wants the cruiserweight division to show what they're about. And it's going to be Nice and Scott, both baby faces, taking on the grizzled young veteran 34, the mystery partner. And the match itself gets us to 64. Wow, that is really good. Really good. Zach Gibson, by the way, a 68 carrying this one. And he is improving every week. They got just under 10 minutes. Didn't need any more than that. We wanted to put the tag team champions over here, get them a defense of the title, their first defense of the title since winning it from the Broserweights. So I really wanted to put them over, and Isaiah Swerve Scott and Tony Nese were the perfect men to do it. They can sell really well. Tony Nese is a powerful wrestler, so the fact that Zach Gibson can pin Tony Nese with a punt kick really puts him over. James Drake 50, really good performance from him for his popularity. That's the best he's been. Gibson 68, killed it. Tony Nese 52 and Isaiah Swerve Scott 51, both with 30 to 40 popularities, and they're hitting well above that. That is what you want to see from your mid card. These are the potential stars of the future. The likes of Zach Gibson, the likes of Isaiah Swerve Scott could be future NXT champions. But let's see where they go from here. 64, really good stuff. As the grizzled young veterans are celebrating their championship defense, the music of William Regal hits, and the NXT general manager comes out onto the stage and says, "Good win, boys. Good win." And you know what I really enjoyed? Seeing tag team wrestling at its very best. And it gave me an idea. I want to see tag team wrestling at its very best at TakeOver. So you've been ducking them for a while, but no more. Former Smackdown Tag Team Champions will get an opportunity at the NXT Tag Team Championships. They have deserved this opportunity. They've been unbeaten in a while. It is Breezango against the grizzled young veterans at NXT TakeOver. Check that graphic out. Grizzled young veterans against Breezango with the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line at TakeOver. Speaking of TakeOver, the challenger for the NXT Women's Championship, Tegan Nox, was in action here, defeating Vanessa Bourne for 45. So Tegan really carried this. Really good performance from her. 48, again, a 40 popularity. She's performing 8 above it. Really good potential star, Tegan Nox. I tell you that much. Vanessa Bourne, 27 and a 45 segment rating. Is really good. Now, before we go any further, I just want to talk about sort of how I'm thinking with Tegan Nox at the moment, because she is someone who could be an absolute superstar. There's no doubt about it, but at the moment her popularity is a little bit low. She goes into this championship match with Dakota Kai, who's improved, massively. I'm in two minds of what to do. I'll tell you this now, just to tease you for the pay-per-view, or so to speak. I am in two minds what to do, because she could go. One way is that Tegan Nox is a great opponent for Dakota Kai, a great opponent, and it puts over the champion big time if she beats her. However, Tegan Nox is someone who has a built-in rivalry with Dakota Kai. She's never had her comeuppance. Dakota Kai hasn't. There is a story written there that Tegan Nox could take the championship, so it really is a match that could go both ways, and it genuinely just depends on how I feel on the day of recording. I'll say that much. The post-match segment then, 47 is okay. Raquel Gonzalez struggled with the fighting because she hasn't got any star power. That's okay. Perhaps should have had one of the other people doing that. I'll look into that. But this is how it goes down. So Tegan's celebrating when Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, they make their entrance, but they're not making their normal entrance. They come out and they've got masks on. And these masks, they're the masks from last week. Of Tegan Nox crying, the ugly cry face from Tegan Nox that she did in a video package somewhere. I'm sure she did. I don't know for certain. I'm just saying in terms of the storyline she did. And they have those masks on. And more embarrassment for Tegan Nox, more laughing at Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox isn't happy with it, tries to attack, but of course it's 2-on-1, and eventually she loses out again. Tegan Nox is left down and laying again by Dakota and Raquel. Will she be able to come back and really stand tall at NXT TakeOver? Well, that's what could happen. You don't know right now. I really don't know right now. I said next week's going to be a big week, and already then let's start announcing some of these matchups. Keith Lee, the number one contender for the NXT Championship, will be in action in a handicap match. He'll be taking on all 3 men of the Undisputed Era. They're on NXT champion Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong. Adam Cole will probably be there at ringside too. Will Keith Lee be able to make it to NXT TakeOver when he takes on this almighty challenge from the Undisputed Era? O'Reilly, Fish and Strong look to take out Lee just, 5 days before? No, 3 days before, maybe. A few days before NXT TakeOver. Big matchup that. And so's this one. This has got your main event written all over it. I tell you now. Tag team action, 2 feuds melded into one. It'll be Gargano and Karrion Kross versus Tommaso Ciampa and Kushida. Both teams are on the opposite sides of their opponents for TakeOver. Which one will get the upper hand going into the big pay-per-view? Will Kross and Ciampa be able to be in the same ring together without destroying each other? Also, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa again. We may see it next week in this big tag team match. That is not all though, as this one has also been announced in the women's division. We just saw her laughing and, beating down Tegan Nox. The NXT Women's Champion Dakota Kai will be in action just a few days before her title defense against Nox. She'll be taking on Mia Yim, a very tough opponent for the champion. Can she gain some momentum going into TakeOver, or will Mia Yim put herself right into a title contention? We will find out next week. Main event time, and Matt Riddle defeats Damien Priest. Did I say Cameron Grimes earlier? I've changed it to Damien Priest when I put it in. It was originally meant to be Grimes. But look at that segment rating. A 75 main event. Fabulous stuff from these two men. Matt Riddle, a 69 performance. Damien Priest, a 60. 2 great performances. 2 good opponents for each other, and Matt Riddle gets a good victory by submission with a guillotine choke. Damien Priest is another one, a great talent, and I know he's North American champion at the moment, but in this game there isn't quite a spot for him. There will be. I plan on using him, but at the moment I'm using him to have some great matches on TV, and eventually we'll get the push behind him. But 75, hell yes, what a main event. What a main event. We're not quite done though, because Finn Balor comes out to, ruin the party for a 71 segment. Good segment again between these two. Balor attacks Riddle and hits the 1916 on the concrete floor. He pulls the mats up and hits it on the concrete floor. Balor stands tall again this week, and Finn Balor standing tall at the end of an NXT. We've been here before. We could be there again. That then gives us a 68 rated NXT, which is okay. I mean, these couple of 30s have really dragged it down. The Tony Nese thing, the Rhea Ripley promo was bad. But apart from that, it's a pretty good show. The show increased our popularity in 34 regions. We would have gained popularity in 1 British region, but we have a limited number of viewers there. I wonder what that's about. We should look into that. But really good NXT. Considering this weren't a big NXT. Like, if you look at the matches we put on here, we put over the stars in the storylines for sure. Ciampa's put over. Ripley and Candice LeRae's one match that I expected to be pretty good, and it was. Balor and Atlas, we've put Balor over. We did some storyline stuff with the tag team titles, and actually it's worked out really well. Tegan and Vanessa Bourne, again, you put Tegan over. And then the main event, which was really good. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as this NXT this week. Next week, though, maybe it could be even better. NXT UK, though, you've got a lot to live up to now. Okay, NXT UK. Now, we're not building towards TakeOver. We might be eventually, but at the moment, we're just building characters and building up the show and building up the roster and trying to get people to watch. NXT UK, genuinely, when it comes back, which is, I think next week? I believe next week, something like that in real life, obviously. Genuinely watch it. It's a great product. I went to a tapings last year, really good fun. Really good product, genuinely. If you ignore the fact that they're not huge stars and just watch it for the wrestling, it's old school, it's good. Watch it. That's what we're trying to do here. And we open up with Rob Terry in action against Mark Andrews. We're in Wales. We get Mark Andrews out first, and that makes a lot of sense. A 43 raid matchup again for NXT UK. That is pretty good. 46, Mark Andrews. 38 from Rob Terry. Rob Terry starting up a feud now with the Ojmo last week, and he's in action this week against a hometown favourite and defeats him. Really put him over, get that heel heat on Rob Terry, and 12 minutes or so. So we had a good match to start us off. Good, decent match. 43. Mark Andrews not getting quite the job done. He's a veteran on the roster now. He is known. He has got a bit of popularity to him. We've got to use him to put over these other talents, and it's what we've done here. Rob Terry getting the victory. After the match, though, no. the Ojmo is here for revenge. A 42 rated segment. Johnny Moss could have put it together better, but it's still a pretty good segment for this feud. Ojmo runs out looking for revenge, hits his finisher on Rob Terry. Rob Terry, a big man, but the Ojmo really gets something over him here, and these two are really brewing something now between the two of them. A potentially top heel on the brand, Rob Terry, eventually, and definitely a potentially top babyface on the brand. I see Tyler Bate sort of levels with the Ojmo right now, and I want to get him there. 42 is good though. Tag team action sees the women's division highlighted, and yeah, took a toll here with an injury to Isla Dawn. Means a 24 rated match. That's disappointed if you look at the pops. That is what it is. Kaylee Ray, though, and Zia Brookside, of course, daughter of Robbie Brookside, teamed together to take on Lana Austin and Isla Dawn. Kaylee Ray getting the victory over Isla Dawn with a gory bomb. Good win for the NXT Women's Champion was the idea, but also highlighting some of the other talents in now a pretty stacked women's division. We've just got to use them, accept that there's going to be some low ratings for a while, but hopefully everyone will boost everyone. That's what happened in NXT, if you remember, with the horsewomen, but everyone boosted everyone. This is the idea now. Isla Dawn, though, sustained a foot blister. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. That's a bit of an annoying injury. 26 from Zia Brookside is really, really good for her. She's got a 14 pop, I think, something like that. So really good. Kaylee Ray, good from her again. Isla Dawn, 22, considering she took an injury as well. That's okay. 31 for Lana Austin. Shows she is worth using too. 24, pretty good though. But Kaylee Ray got on the mic afterwards to address Martina's title challenge. She says, fine, I will do it. Thanks, Jason. I will do it. 41 promo as well. Really good from the women's champion. I'll do it. Yeah, I'll take you on, Martina. I'll put this championship on the line because I am the best. And you wanted to keep cheap shotting me. You wanted to keep attacking me. So let's raise the stakes. I'll do it. And I'll do it next week. I'll put this title on the line here on NXT UK next week if it's a tables match. Kaylee Ray with a big statement here. She wants Martina for sure, but she wants it in a tables match. And this match is announced for next week. Kaylee Ray puts the Women's Championship on the line against Martina in a tables match. We go backstage where Tyler Bate is about to cut a promo on Chris Brooks, but here comes Chris Brooks to attack him. A 59 rated segment, leaves him down and out. The idea here is, do you remember when Mick Foley was pushed down a flight of stairs by Randy Orton? 2004, 2005. This is what we're going with here. Chris Brooks throws Tyler Bate, bumping down a few steps down the stairs he goes, and leaves Tyler Bate laying out Chris Brooks. Evil intentions, and Tyler Bate medical attention needed after the attack. 59, again, this is something that can just further this and keep it going and keep it going and keep it going until they eventually have this big blow-off rematch, potentially at a takeover. If we can get it there, potentially, or it could be another big main event for the TV show. 59 though, really good. Backstage, Trent Seven, his mustache mounting partner, Tyler Bates' mustache mounting partner, was cutting a promo ahead of his main event. He's taking on Joe Hendry, and a 54 rate segment is okay. He struggled a little bit. He's one of the most popular men on the brand, 60 pop, Trent Seven, so he's in the main event tonight against Joe Hendry, really helping the tag team storyline. Will the match be very good? Let's find out. Trent Seven, Joe Hendry gets us a 54. So, okay, that's not bad when you look at the two popularities. Perhaps could have been better. Trent really couldn't carry it. It feels like 64 from him. Joe Hendry, 41, no slouch either, and a 54. There were a lot of things in this match, though, that have probably brought it down. The fact that I had to really sell it to Trent, who didn't want to lose, was the first of it. But then there's also, actually, nothing really brought it down. There was an interference in the finish. Eddie Dennis interfering on behalf of his tag team partner, Joe Hendry, to take down Trent Seven. That is why Hendry won with the freak of nature. That's fine. We had to protect Trent Seven as well to try and ease it because he was furious. So that's gone into it too. They start to put the boot to one half of the tag team champions. But to end the show, the predictable but the cheer I would expect for the save from Dave Mastiff. 44 for this is okay. Could have been better. Mastiff makes a big save for his tag team partner and his fellow tag team champion. Struggled in the segment though, as did Eddie Dennis. Trent Seven did well, and Joe Hendry did pretty well too. And that gives us a 51 rated NXT UK. I say it again, pretty good. We are slowly getting better and better each week. And we're sort of our average is rising and rising. So that's really good. Really good. Next week though, perhaps could be better with that tables women's championship match. Be interesting. Okay, finally we end with Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. Now, no big matches were announced this week. We will announce some matches for next week, but no big matches announced this week. But we open up with the Universal Champion. He comes out to the ring. He's got a match up against Mojo Rawley. But beforehand, Kayla Braxton is there with a microphone wanting to talk to him about, obviously, last week that the Fiend left him lying and bleeding after the mandible claw. What's Braun Strowman got to say about it? We'll find out now. Well, I've said he's cut a promo for 70. He didn't actually cut a promo. I should have changed a road agent. I'm not a good road agent, apparently. Fair enough. Well, let's talk about what happened to Kayla Braxton asked him, how are you feeling? Nothing. Nothing from Braun Strowman at all. He doesn't speak at all. Ignores all the questions, just staring and breathing heavily, more aggressive than ever before. They say when you come together and come against the Fiend, it changes you. Braun Strowman already seems to be changing. 70 for the segment. The match against Mojo then is a 56. Okay, Mojo off his game. 76 from Braun, 42 from Mojo. Wonder what brought this down so much then. I did say it was going to be a domination. It was a squash, and Braun is good at those. Well executed squash. I suppose just because it's a squash, I suppose. Braun was holding back. Mojo was penalised. 56 though. Seems really disappointing there. But either way, you get the point. More aggressive than ever before. The Universal Champion Braun Strowman is starting to show the monster that he has deep down inside. Braun, well, he's changing. We come back from break for Elias coming out to the ring. Cesaro next to him, and he's got his guitar back, and he cuts a traditional Elias promo, ripping on the crowd here at the Cross Insurance Arena. It's traditional cheap heel heat that gets Elias over so much. 67 for the promo is pretty good. Ahead of him facing off with Jeff Hardy. It's Elias and Jeff Hardy in the second match of the night. For 57, okay. That, again, is slightly disappointing. I'm not sure what's going on tonight, but something's not quite right. Elias, 59. Jeff Hardy, 63, but a 57. Yeah, I'm not sure. As you can see here, Elias beats Jeff Hardy with a Halo Bomb. It says here we're starting a storyline with the Artist Collective. That's Elias and Cesaro against Jeff Hardy. And it will be Chad Gable eventually who tags with him. But we got to get to that point. That's a spoiler. Elias, though, defeats Jeff Hardy here for 57. Afterwards, Elias and Cesaro beat him down for a 59. A 2-on-1 attack. Leaves Jeff Hardy laying. It's going to be a slow build to get Jeff and Gable together is the idea. Yeah, not bad. But again, I feel like it's rated a little bit low there. Sasha Banks got a backstage promo on Bayley for 53. The first time we've really heard from her since she was turned on by her best friend a couple of weeks ago. She calls Bayley jealous. She says she's selfish. She also apologises to the fans for getting caught up in all the Bayley stuff, for getting caught up in what Bayley believed. Sasha Banks knows she has done wrong, but she knows as women's champion, she needs to be better. She needs to be a role model, but a real role model. Not a golden role model, a real role model. And at SummerSlam, she will put it all right. Because at SummerSlam, it's Sasha Banks versus Bayley. We stick with the women's division. Good match here. Sonya Deville defeats Carmella for a 59. Again, as I say, this is good. Sonya 53, Carmella 56. And the modified Gogoplata does the business for Sonya Deville. I don't know if I said that right. 59, though, is really quite good. Pleased with that. Sonya getting another good victory. Someone we're building up now, Sonya Deville, with Sasha in this babyface role as champ. Eventually, maybe Sonya versus Sasha could be the way to go. But let's get there first. 59, good stuff. Afterwards, she cut a promo for 51, did really well, talking herself up to the crowd. So saying how she is a star and the crowd better see her that way. 51. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Backstage segment here for 74. This is really good. This is what happens. So the New Day walking into the locker room of the Artist Collective. Sami Zayn is there. Cesaro is there. Elias is recovering from his victory earlier. He's showered now. He's just getting changed. As in walk the New Day. Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. Kofi says, you know what? I want that title match. I deserve that title match. Big E seems to be going along with it this time as well. And Kofi Kingston says to Sami, you will give me that title match or we will take what we want. A little bit of a threat here from the New Day. Sami says, fine. You know what? You want it. You've got it. Agree to the title match and then nails Kofi with the title, and a massive brawl breaks out between all 6 men. New Day and Artist Collective brawling backstage, have to be kept apart. 74, really, really good segment. Elias did well, Kofi did well, Cesaro did well, but mainly Elias. Really, really good stuff from him. And that will lead to a matchup next week. 6-man tag action. Artist Collective, Sami Zayn, Elias and Cesaro taking on The New Day, Big E, Kofi and Xavier Woods. Just 2 days before SummerSlam, when Sami Zayn takes on Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship. That one should be a hell of a match, as should that 6-man tag on Smackdown. Good stuff. That's not all for next week, though, as we get a women's tag match, and it's the women's champion Sasha Banks teaming with Mandy Rose, someone who's, well, they've been rivals in the past, but next week, they will be on the same team. It'll be interesting to see if they can coexist when they take on Sonya Deville and Bayley. Sasha will get her hands on Bayley for the first time since an attack last week. She'll get her hands on her in an actual match for the first time in a long, long while. Sasha and Mandy versus Deville and Bayley next week. We went to the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt was there cutting a promo on Braun Strowman for 73. Struggled a little bit, but still pretty good. And he said, you know what, last week was fun. Last week was the start of Braun coming home. Next week, I will be at Smackdown. Next week, I will offer myself to the Black Sheep, Braun Strowman. 73. It's going to be interesting to see what we do in the go-home segment between those two next week. Promo here between Ricochet and Mustafa Ali. We've named them. We've given them a name, and I'm going to call them the Ring Workers. I could change that if you guys don't like it. Let me know if you've got any better options. But the Ring Workers is what I'm going with. In my head, they're going to be the real sort of, I don't know, the best workers on the brand is what I want them to be. I want them to be all about putting on good matches week in, week out. So the Ring Workers might work. They got a promo ahead, hyping up an upcoming match against the Glorious Show Off. That's Dolph and Roode. I thought I'd give them a name too, and I quite like that, so that's staying. It was supposed to be this week, but Mustafa Ali's injury means that's not going to happen. Instead, we get tonight Ricochet against Robert Roode, and the match gets us a 73. Ricochet, you filthy, filthy man. You absolutely filthy man. Ricochet defeats Robert Roode just under 15 minutes. Pinfall after the diving double knee drop. But a 70 performance from Ricochet is superb. He's at a 59, 56? Late 50s is his pop, I want to say. But still really good. Robert Roode, 55. It's all about Ricochet, though. He boosted it big time. And a 73 rated matchup. Again, that's what you want. That's why it's called. That's why they're going to be called the Ring Workers, because they are going to put on the great matches week in, week out. Ricochet is doing it there. We had a backstage promo from Sasha earlier. This time we get a backstage promo from Bayley, who calls Sasha a worthless champion. She says she's always ridden on Bayley's success, and at SummerSlam it'll be the same as TakeOver Brooklyn 5 years ago. Ding dong, Bayley wins. 59 for a good segment here from the former women's champion, building up to that sort of, we've talked about it a lot, haven't we, since TakeOver Brooklyn, but Bayley and Sasha Banks will go one-on-one at SummerSlam. Okay, we had a Miz TV segment for the main event, and it was Miz, obviously, and Morrison hosting Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Now, these two teams seemingly have been rivals over the past few weeks. Reigns and Bryan getting involved in Miz and Morrison's business. Of course, the tag champs, Miz and Morrison's, and sort of, they asked that question, Miz in particular does, says, are you a team now? What's going on? What is this? You two seem to go off in your own ways. You've fought each other in the past. What the hell is happening? Because we're the tag champs. We deserve to know. Reigns and Bryan admit, you know what? We could be a team. It could happen. And it all ends up with Morrison sort of taking a challenge in this sort of character he's doing at the moment, where he says stuff that come back to bite him. He says, you know what, you can have your shot at SummerSlam if you want. You want to be a team, you can take on the champs at SummerSlam if Roman Reigns, you can beat The Miz tonight. And The Miz is like, whoa, for God's sake. Miz is not pleased. 86 for a segment leading into an impromptu main event. It's Reigns and The Miz. Really good segment, by the way. I'm not going to gloss over that. 86. Wow. Really, really good. Everyone did really well. Bryan was the underwhelming one, interestingly. And the main event then, unexpected. Reigns and The Miz gives us an 81. Well done, boys. Well done. Roman Reigns defeats The Miz with a spear. It's a singles match. It makes sense to have Reigns go over The Miz. If it was a tag team match, who knows if it'll be the same result. But as a singles match, Reigns is the biggest star and gets the victory in the main event of Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. The Miz 73, Roman Reigns 78, gives us an 81. Everyone did really good work. Maurice is there as well. Really, really, really good stuff. Miz, an amazing heel. Reigns did really, really well as well. So I am pleased with that. And it gives us a 80 rated Smackdown. That is what you call a good week. NXT was pretty good. NXT UK was pretty good. Main event wasn't. Ignore main event. But an 80 rated Raw and an 80 rated Smackdown. Raw went to the best show we've ever had. Better than some of the pay-per-views. Smackdown goes right ahead and joins it. Really, really good stuff. Helped by a big main event, but not just that. Ricochet and Roode put on a great matchup. Good angles across the board. And then, after a slow start, it really picked up. Good stuff. And now next week, we are in for one hell of a week. Let's continue this. Let's continue this momentum into the final week of booking before NXT TakeOver and Summerslam. I want to have a look at what the NXT TakeOver is while I'm there, actually. I want to go into events. So it is NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. That's what I thought. And it is. And it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Will it be NXT TakeOver Brooklyn or will it be SummerSlam that has the better show? My plan now, I'll tell you this. My plan is that next Sunday, so we're going to do the week for next week, and then on the Sunday, it's going to be a pay-per-view spectacular. It's going to be TakeOver Brooklyn, followed immediately by SummerSlam, all in one video. It should be explosive is what I'm going to say, but we've got to get through next week first, and we've got some big matches planned. Like we said, a 6-man tag on Smackdown, New Day and the Artist Collective, big tag in the women's division, the NXT UK Women's Championship is going to be on the line in a tables match, and over on NXT you've got a big handicap match, Keith Lee versus the Undisputed Era. You've also got Johnny Gargano teaming with Karrion Kross against his old rival Tommaso Ciampa and his new rival Kushida. And on Raw, well, don't you expect there's going to be some great matches on Raw, because there definitely is. And don't you dare miss it. So next week should be a big one. To make sure you don't miss it, subscribe to the channel. We have, once again, I'm going to say thank you so much for crossing 100 subscribers. Let's keep boosting this. Time of recording, we're close to 110. We might get there by the time this goes out. If we don't, get over that at least. And subscribe so you know what's coming. Next week's a big week. Like the video if you like the video. And until next time, oh yes. Peace.